Hello, welcome to a Yoga with Things routine for those people that struggle to do yoga because they have bad knees and they find some of the positions a bit more difficult to get into than other people might do. So we're just going to start with a quick warm up. So you do just want to have your feet underneath your hips, arms nice and straight down by the sides, and we're just going to do some arm raises on the inhales and moving with the breath to start with. So inhaling the arms up, exhaling down, inhale up, exhale down. And this time we're going to come up on the toes. So this movement aids balance and works the muscles that stabilise the knees. If you do find it a bit awkward, then just keep moving with the arms and the breath. But inhaling up, coming up onto the tiptoes, exhaling down, inhaling up, exhaling down. 2 more, in time with your own breathing. And then just do some little knee bends here. Okay, so we're gonna do a quick half sun salutation just to warm us up a little bit more. So inhaling the arms up, look up, exhale, fold forward, but only coming into a halfway fold. So if you have bad knees, coming into a full fold can sometimes feel a little bit tense on the knees, or you might be inclined to just overbend the knees to compensate for any tightness in the hamstrings. So we're just going to come into a halfway. And then we're going to inhale up, exhale down. So we're going to do that another 3 times with your own breathing. Inhaling up, exhale, fold into halfway. Taking an inhale here, exhale, inhaling up, inhale up, exhale halfway. Really focusing on having your back nice and flat, not putting pressure on those knees, just gently resting the hands there. Now we're going to add in a chair pose. So this can be quite uncomfortable on your knees if you do have tight knees. So just come into it as much as is comfortable for you. We're not holding it, we are just going to be moving through it. If you just need to come down a little way, that's fine. Just make sure that you're sitting back so your knees aren't coming forward of the toes. And again, you can always use a chair. So you can have the chair behind you and you can actually sit down into the chair as the chair pose if you do find it uncomfortable on the knees holding it at that halfway point. So inhaling the arms up, exhale into that fold, inhale here, exhale, bending the knees into chair and inhaling the arms up, and exhaling to stand. 2 more times with that one. Inhaling up, look up, exhale, fold, and last one. Okay, so now we're going to bring the chair over and we're going to use the chair to do some warrior poses, and the support of the chair will help your knees, so you're not going to be twisting the knee while you're in the pose, which can be a problem. So you want to straddle the chair, so the chair is in the middle of your legs, and you still want your basic warrior stance. So your front knee wants to be nice and bent, your back leg wants to be stretched and straight with all four corners of the foot pushing into the ground. You still want to be pulling that knee back, but because the leg is resting on the chair, it just gives you that little bit more support. Inhaling the arms up, looking up. Then exhaling out into Warrior Two, bringing the hips to face forwards. On the next inhale, coming back to Warrior One. Exhale, bring the left hand down onto the left leg and inhale, coming over. Inhale back to Warrior Two. Warrior One. Release and swap the legs. So coming into the same thing on the opposite side. You might be able to just transition like that. You might need to actually come off the chair and then come into it again, whatever's more comfortable for you. So this time, the right leg's nice and straight. Again, the foot's pressing into the floor on all four corners. This leg's really active. Twisting the hips to look over the front leg as much as you can. They will not fully twist because of the chair being here. So you're just twisting them slightly to look over that front leg. And then inhaling the arms up. Exhale to Warrior Two, bringing the hips forward. Inhale, Warrior One. Exhale, take the right hand down the leg, inhale the left arm over. Exhale, back to Warrior Two. Inhale, Warrior One. And exhale, release. And we're just going to come off the chair again, moving the chair off to one side. Now, if you do still want to do the Warrior One and Two without the chair, if you find the chair a little bit cumbersome, you can do, and you just come into the Warrior One stance with your feet a little bit closer together. You just have to make sure that this knee isn't going over the toes. And then coming into Warrior One, normal. When you come into Warrior Two, don't move the feet. Like, you can have the heels lined up, it'll protect your knees a little bit more rather than having the standard heel to arch alignment. So just you can just play around with the poses a little bit and get your legs nice and comfortable. So now we're going to have a look at dancer. So the standard dancer pose puts a lot of tension on the knee because you're holding the foot, you're pulling it back to get into that back bend. But what you can do is you can come to a wall. So using a wall, you're just going to place your right hand against the wall so that your elbow is slightly bent when you're standing away from it. And then you just lift your right leg out and up behind you and bring your chest forward and up and look up to the ceiling. So you'll still get the back bend, you'll still get the stretch in the quad, but because you're not holding onto the foot, there's no tension in the knee. And release. And then coming to the opposite side to do the same. Bending the knee, inhaling the chest up and forwards. And if you want to, you can bring the opposite arm up in front, or you can keep it on your hip. Exhaling and releasing. So we're now going to come down onto the floor and we're going to do a couple of forward folds. So coming down into a seated position, we're going to do Marichyasana, which involves the bent leg. So in order to protect the knees for this pose, you have to be really careful in the way you come into it. So extend the left leg out, bend the right foot in and bring it next to the thigh. Then open the knee out to the side. So you're bending the knee, and then you're rotating the hip joint to open the knee out to the side. You can put a blanket underneath your knee just to reduce the pressure, or a block if that's better. But you just need to be aware of how you're bringing the leg in and out. Bring it in first, then open it out, and that will stop any twisting on the kneecap itself. The knee shouldn't be twisted. The knee only does extension and flexion. Don't try and twist it. You're twisting from the hip, which is a ball and socket joint and has a greater range of motion. So, bringing the body over the straight front leg, inhaling the arms up. Exhale, folding forwards. I'm just going to hold it for a couple of breaths. So you want to aim the chest as far forward as you can. Relax the neck. You don't want to be aiming the chest to the knee. The aim is not to just get your chest to your knee. The aim is to keep your back nice and flat and to bring the chest to the toes. And then inhaling, coming up. Exhale down, take hold of the knee, bring the knee back in, and then stretch the leg out. Bringing the other knee in so that you can do the same on the opposite side, and then opening the hip out. Again, using the blocks, using the blanket if you need to keep this knee nice and comfortable, keeping the straight leg foot flexed, keeping this leg active. Inhaling the arms up, exhale coming forwards. And so this is a nice hamstring stretch, the same as any other forward bend, and it also stretches the entire back. And because of the angle here, because you're having to twist slightly, it has got an ever so slight twist in the lower back muscles, but not too strong a twist. Then inhaling up. Exhale, release, taking hold of the knee, bringing the knee in. So now we're going to do a bit of a twist, and we're going to do Marichyasana, and we're going to do the one with the foot staying on the same side of the body as the hip, rather than crossing it over the leg. Also, in order to protect the knee, we don't want to be pulling on the leg at all. So usually you'd twist into it and you'd hold there and pull on the knee. We're actually going to twist the opposite way. So we're going to inhale the right arm up, and we're going to exhale and bring it to the inside of the knee and twist. And so you're still using the leg, but because you're on the inside of the leg, you're not pushing quite so strongly against it, and you're less likely to hurt the knee. Coming back to centre on the next inhale. Releasing the leg out, bringing the other leg in so you can repeat on the other side. Inhaling the left arm up. Exhale, bringing it to the inside of the knee. And you're still pulling the knee against your arm, but because you're not coming over centre, that twist isn't going to happen in your knee. And on the next inhale, coming back to centre. And then we're going to come down onto the mat. So just lying down onto the mat. And we're going to have a look at some stretches and some hip openers. So we're going to start with bird dog. So I want you to push your hands up, hands in line with the shoulders. Imagine that you're pressing against the ceiling, and bring the legs into tabletop position 2. Keeping the shins parallel to the floor. And then you're going to take an inhale, And as you exhale, take the left leg and the right arm out. Inhale back to centre. Exhale the opposite side. So you're not going to get quite the same benefits from this as you do if you were kneeling down. However, it still gives you that alternate stretch, the alternate movement. You just don't get the balance aspect of this, but you can still feel it working your core, and it's a lot nicer on the knees because you're not having to kneel on the floor. One more each side. And then bringing the legs and the hands down. We're going to do figure four. So you're going to bring your right foot on top of your left knee. Keep the foot flexed to make sure that your ankle board is on the other side of the knee and not pressing into the knee. And then inhale the other leg up. So usually on this one you thread through and you'd use your elbow. We're doing a nice knee safe one version here. So you just lift up until you feel a stretch. You don't want to feel any tension in that knee. You're not using your arms. And you can on an inhale pull the knee in more, and then on an exhale release if that feels nice. So you can have a little bit of movement in this one. But make sure you keep that bent, the foot on top flexed to protect the knee. And then on the next exhale, coming down, uncrossing the leg, and repeating on the other side. So make sure your foot is in the right place before you start to move, and then inhale up. And don't worry about where this knee's sitting, you're still getting the stretch. As long as you can feel that stretch, that's all that you want. And again, you can have that movement if you want it. And the movement can be as big or as small as is comfortable for you. It might not be obvious movement, it might just be very small, but it's enough just to increase the stretch for you. One more. And then exhaling, coming down. Now we're going to roll onto our side. You're going to have your knees bent, elbow on the floor underneath the shoulder, shins parallel to the front of the mat, and you're just going to, on an inhale, push into the arm, push into the feet, and lift the hips. Exhale down, inhale up. Exhale down. And this time, inhale up and we'll hold. Exhale down. And then coming on to the opposite side. Exactly the same setup. So your knees aren't quite at a 90-degree angle, you don't want to be up here. They're more at a 45-degree angle. Pressing into the arm, inhaling up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. And this time hold. And you can have this arm wherever's comfortable. You can have it on your hip, you can rest it just in front, you can have it on the floor if you're finding you're struggling with your balance. And exhale down. And then come into your final relaxation, whatever that is. Shavasana, child's pose. If you're doing child's pose and you do have sore knees, make sure you use padding underneath the knees before you come into the child's pose. But take a few minutes in your final relaxation, use that time to do a body scan and just see how the body now feels at the end of the practice, and just make sure that you haven't overworked those knees and it has been a suitable practice for you. Thank you for joining me on the mat. Namaste.